Well, what he said was very interesting. And of course, all the conspiracy theorists are all like thinking that this is all bullshit, but whatever. I'm going to take the word of someone that actually knows what he's talking about and actually meets with presidents of countries and everything else like that. He said, and this is something that, you and I have talked about before. He said that no country has done more good for Africa than China.
True.
He said that China is, number one, China 30 years ago was what Africa is today. Mm-hmm. People think China's always been a superpower. Not so.
No.
Not so. They had a massive ramp up over 30 years. Mm-hmm. And as they're growing, they need a market for all their goods. The U.S. is not doing too well in terms of their relations with China right now. So the choices were either Africa or India. They went with Africa. And they have gone in there and they've established relationships with the presidents of all these different countries. And some people are jealous of those relationships. And people try to say that Africa is just trying to, is being raped by China and whatever else. But in fact, China has actually helped that continent more so than anybody else.
Even in the U.S., clearly is nowhere near big enough. So they needed either India or Africa to create that partnership. The reason why Africa became the biggest concentrated market for China is because we share the same cultures. When you look at history, you look at the way we live, the way we raise our children, a lot of it is very, very similar. So they can really relate to the culture in Africa. And then 35 years ago, China was in the same exact position that Africa was today. Yeah, which is really deep. But they created a system that allowed them to figure out a way to move it in. So now China has all these factories, all this product. They can't keep all of that shit stored up in what's the names, but they also need to expand that audience too, as far as who all this product is going to. So Africa can utilize majority, at least 90% of the stuff that's being created in China today because of that culture, collaboration, So what China's doing, they're creating, instead of buying, they're just bartering. They're saying, okay, listen, to keep our factories running, to keep this and that going, we need resources from Africa. We can't live without the resources. But in return, we want to be able to build infrastructure, schools, roundabouts, bridges, and things of this nature. So that serves two purposes for Africa and for China, mainly. One, it gives China the distribution routes that they need to be able to create, opportunity to sell more goods, distribute more goods, ship out more goods to a brand new audience. Mm-hmm. And two, it gives Africans the infrastructure that they need to be able to just set up a basic economy to gain enough revenue to even be able to afford that stuff. So it's a win-win situation when you look at it.
Right. And people are like, this is bullshit. Akon is just being used and he's just China's trying to take over and giving them loans and whatever else. He said, not so. And he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Right. Now, it is true. China is using Akon. And rightfully so. Mm-hmm. The right person to get something that needed to be done.
Right.
China, when I was in China, I think I mentioned this before, they were having commercials and little small blurbs on television that was showing the wonderful parts of China, how wonderful these people were, how pleasing, and because
wonderful parts of Africa.
Yeah. And how pleasing the African people were.
Yes.
It didn't show any of the negativity. And when you ever saw anything on Africa, it was always negative. It was always they're savages, they're beasts, the flies flying around kids, there's no food. They always show Rwanda, they always showed all of that, but they don't show that somebody's coming in and saying, okay, China, we're going to put a factory here and we're going to put it, and now Chinese factories are different. They are definitely like, they want you to be a machine. Mm-hmm. And they were trying that in China too. So they even be in trial for that, beating and treating people not properly. But on the overall view, China went in, invested money, invested trade. Yes, you're making their product, but you're also giving them a trade, taking them out of I would say the age where everybody can just come in and give them vaccines and test on them to see what works.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna listen to Akon as opposed to somebody in the comments who probably doesn't even have a high school education and has never been to China or Africa for that matter. I've been to Africa.
And they think Africa is a country.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
Yeah, I mean, Jamel Hill even said that on accident during our last interview.
Yeah.
She said the country of Africa. I'm like, the continent. She's like, oh yeah, the continent. Like she's very intelligent.
Right.
Like, she's brilliant at what she does. She went to college, everything else like that. But there's this natural thing of calling Africa a country.
Yeah.
And seriously, how many Americans can name 10 African countries?
I can.
You can, but not that many people can. I can also, but not that many people can because people just say Africa.
Right. And I practice too because somebody hit me with that and they were like, what part of Africa do you think your people are from? And they were like, well, you're tall. They started doing all that stuff. And I was like, probably West Africa, somewhere close to, where the Maasai is. I started picking spots that I had seen in movies. And you never know. You just know that I'm African. If somebody asks me, I'm an African living in America.